What is going on? Welcome to the Risen Fallen podcast. I am your host, Mark Hendrickson, and if you're brand new to this show, then what you can expect is open and authentic conversations about things like mental health and self-development and how to get your life moving in the right direction. If you're not feeling good about where you are right now, at least having the confidence knowing that you're getting one step closer every single day, the person you'd like to be, where you woke up at, what you woke up doing, that kind of stuff. And if you're not new to this show, then thank you very much for coming back, supporting the idea, supporting the journey, and supporting the notion of making yourself 1% better every single day, and along the way, lifting other people up as well. And so with all that being said, welcome to the show. I hope you're doing well. And whether you're new to this show or not, you are the reason that I do what I do. But all that aside, I was thinking about something funny today, and I wanted to talk about it today, and so that's what we're going to do. And so I was thinking about, it's so funny because, as like a white North American, whenever you find out that somebody kind of lived in another country, or you kind of, you hear about somebody being in another country, instantly that person becomes like the ambassador of that country. We ask them like, oh, what about this? What about that? Can you tell me about this? And it's kind of funny because I know it's kind of like, the only reason I say it's kind of like a white person thing is because we're the ones that are kind of like so shy to say anything or to make share an opinion on something, because we're so, conditioned to not be, wanting to offend people. And so this idea is like kind of, I don't know, I kind of find it funny that, you'll see kind of conversations where like somebody's like, oh, I'm from this country, I'm from that country. And then you'll like kind of look around and wait, and you'll see like one guy be like, oh, can you tell me about this like controversial thing that happened in that country? Like this person's like super educated. And I don't know, maybe you guys have had that kind of experience as well. Maybe if you're from another country, maybe you've had that experience where someone's like, hey, like, you like, what, where are you from? And then you say like, oh, I'm from so-and-so country. And then they're like, oh, can you tell me about this leader of this country? Like, what did you guys think of him? Like, what was the news on the ground? Like, and it's this like curiosity to try and understand things from a different perspective, or to try and understand things. But just that concept is so funny. Like I could imagine like, if I went to another country and they were like, oh, you're from Canada. Like, can you tell me about like that, the truckers convoy that happened? Or could you tell me about, this or that? And, it's kind of funny to think about that idea in and of itself, because I feel like even as Canadians, like living in Canada, like most of the time, none of us really have any idea about what's going on in this country. Yet if we were going to be in another country, like we'd probably be seen as the type of person that could, not ambassador that country, but, at least be a representative of like what's true. But I feel like so many of us, because of how everything's structured, we don't even know what's going on in our own, country. And a lot of the times, the reason I thought that this was kind of like a funny topic to talk about, or something interesting to talk about, is because it's so, there's so many times in our life that's kind of the exact same thing. We consider ourselves to be experts of ourselves. We consider ourselves to, we're like, okay, well, I experience these things and I kind of feel my feelings on a daily basis, so I must know the most about my feelings. Or, we just think that because we're so close to all the issues on a day-to-day basis that we probably know everything about them. And we know what causes them. We know what they cause. We know the byproducts of those things as well. And like I said, it's kind of a misconception. I feel like this is kind of something that I was thinking about, understanding that, nobody really understands 100% of everything going on around them in their lives, that kind of stuff. And I think it's an important lesson because, one person's experience and one person's knowledge doesn't always speak to how, everything is. I guess is a weird way to say it. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, I think a lot of the time it's more useful to take, what people say as a factual statement, with a grain of salt. I think that it's important to remember that not everybody knows everything. In fact, everybody knows very little. In my personal opinion, I think that the way that I look at it, when I realized this idea, I guess, is that, when I realized that my parents don't have everything figured out. I remember there was a conversation with my dad about, asking him like, okay, when you started your business, how did you feel? Like, were you anxious? Were you, scared? I was trying to probe at him to see if like he felt a lot of the things that I felt throughout my early adulthood. And, out of that conversation, I kind of realized that nobody really has anything figured out. Like, we're all trying to constantly figure things out, which was, it probably seems like a very basic, simple topic, but for me, it was kind of revolutionary because, for the first part of my life, I kind of grew up thinking like, oh, adults know everything, and one day I'll be an adult, and then I won't have these weird feelings of uncertainty and anxiousness and questioning things. Like, I won't have that. In my perspective, looking at adults, it was like, oh, they always seemed so sure of everything that they do. Like, when will I get to that age? Like, I remember thinking like that. Like, I legitimately remember thinking like that. And it was like this revolutionary idea that, everyone is just kind of still like a kid. Because to me, like a kid meant figuring things out. And so that's when I realized that all adults were just like big kids. Like, it's like we're all just kind of wandering through this kind of life trying to figure shit out, and we're just like, oh, okay, well, like if I treat this person like that, then this is what's gonna happen, like that kind of stuff. Like, it was just very simple. Like, I kind of understood it on a deeper level, that we're all just figuring shit out. And I think that that's so important to remember when we start to share our ideas, our opinions, our goals, when we talk to other people, it's important to remember that everyone's still figuring it out, because, you're going to hear so many things. You take goal setting, for example. If you set a lofty goal for yourself and you're like, hey, I want to do this thing, and, you tell somebody about it, if they care about you, they're starting to think about the risks involved, what they don't want their loved one to be hurt, so they start to think about the risks involved, and then they start to think about, these could be things that they know nothing about, but they're like, oh, I heard some friend of mine tried that and got hurt, or lost a lot of money, or lost a lot of time, or the people that he dealt with were sharks and snakes, and everyone in that industry must be as well. Like, it's like out of a concern, they'll try and hold you back from doing most things. Like, if you were honestly to tell like a lot of people in society your thoughts, like, I feel like a lot of people would tell you a lot of things that might discourage you from even trying anything, based on, them trying to protect you, them quote unquote caring for you. And I think that this kind of goes, I think it kind of goes both ways, because it's not always something negative like that where someone's kind of discouraging you, but it could be somebody gassing you up and blowing smoke up your ass. It could be the exact opposite of like, oh, bro, I've got this amazing opportunity for you. Everybody that's tried it, it's been amazing for them. Like, just to remember to take everything with a grain of salt. I think that a lot of people are more wrong than they are certain about them being right more of the time. I think that there's a lot of people that seem like they have things figured out, and they're very confident in the way that they live, and they're very confident in the way that they think and behave. But I'm sure if you were to, see that person on their worst day, or see that person at a time, like I guess what I'm trying to say is everybody has those thoughts and those feelings of uncertainty and what I think a lot of people consider to be anxiety. And I think that, this idea that everyone else has it figured out, and then we internalize this feeling of like, but I feel anxious, I feel, uncertain. It kind of becomes this like social contagion where we're all scared to admit that we're all trying to figure something out. And I think that that's part of the reason why quote unquote anxiety is diagnosed the way that it is, because it's really just the people that are like, yeah, I'm willing to admit, like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, and it kind of scares me. Like, I think that most people feel that way at some point in their life, at least once. But I think that most people feel it all the time. And I think that the feeling that we get, thinking that that's not a normal feeling, is what makes us feel so uneasy about it. This idea of like, I'm supposed to have it figured out. I'm supposed to feel certain. I'm supposed to have everything under control all the time. And it's like, no, you're not. Like, that's not how life works. And so I think that the people that can navigate through it the best are the ones that we view as cool, calm, and collected. I think that, a lot of the time we let that feeling, we can call it anxiety, we can call it whatever you like. I just call it like uncomfortability or uncertainty. I think that feeling is a completely normal feeling. And the fact that we, consider it to be irregular or not normal is the reason why people think that they're suffering from it. And like, it's not supposed to be there. But I think that, that's one of the feelings you're supposed to become friends with. And I think that there's too many of us that are trying to avoid that feeling of uncertainty and uneasiness and uncomfortability. And that's probably why we find ourselves in the places that we are now. And so I guess the long and short of it is, I just want to make this episode to remind you guys that not everybody's got it figured out. In fact, in my personal opinion, this is my best guess or my best estimate. I feel like most people don't have it figured out. I feel like if you feel that level of, uncertainty or uneasiness, that uncomfortability, then you're probably, you're moving in the right direction in terms of what I can see or what I hear or what I described. Because just the fact that knowing like, hey, I feel off in my life, I feel anxious, I feel uncertain, I feel uneasy, I feel scared, I feel all these negative things, you're already identifying how you're feeling, which is probably one of the hardest things. And then from there, you just kind of figure it out. You reverse engineer it and think, why am I feeling this? I'm not supposed to run from this feeling, but I'm supposed to identify it and start to eliminate the cause of this problem in my life. And so, I guess, like I said, the reason I'm making this episode is to remind you that it's not irregular to feel these things. It's not, take people's word with a grain of salt, because we're all trying to figure this shit out. And so if you feel like you're still trying to figure this thing out that we call life, you're probably more normal than most. So that's all I got for you guys today. It is Monday today. I can't remember which day it is. I think probably the 8th or something like that. But anyways, it is Monday today. I hope you guys are doing well. I will check in with you guys on Thursday. We are going to have a lot more of the mental health hikes coming up in this new year. We just ripped one right before New Year's Eve, so that was amazing, and we got to see some good, happy, friendly faces, have some good conversations, get out there in the good, great outdoors. And if that's something you're interested in joining in on, please reach out to me on Instagram. It's @RisenFallen. Other than that, nice little 15-minute episode as we wrap up here. I'm going to take a little sip of my coffee as we sign out. And let me know what you guys think of 2024 so far, what you have planned, what your thoughts are, how you think this year is going to go. Let me know in the comment section below. I wanted to ask as well for anybody listening to this podcast to please leave a little review, rate us 5 stars on whatever podcast platform you listen on, and that helps boost me in the algorithm and helps get this message out to people that need to hear it. And so, short and sweet little episode today. Hope you guys don't mind that. And let me know what you guys are expecting for the rest of the new year. And I'll see you on Thursday. Much love. Peace out. Love you all. Bye.